how did you build a book? You know, what did it take? You know, I started out as a $20 hair cutter, and I built my career, and through that career I was able to charge $850 for a haircut. You know, what's the secret behind that? What does it take to do that kind of thing? What does it take to be successful? What does it take to build a book? And you know, there's a lot to that, and I think what I try to share some of my thoughts with you. The first thing I would tell any new designer would be, don't be afraid to ask. Do not be afraid to ask your clientele and ask the customer you're doing to send their friends to refer people to you. You know, utilizing our refer a book program, which is successful, and you know, and we teach. I've had a lot of success with this as well. The power of suggestion is amazing. The power of suggestion in your consultations. The power of suggestion about creativity. If you might say to your client, you know, have you ever thought of your hair color being red? If they have, you know, if their husband or they have a daughter or something, you can say, you know, well, I know I do men's hair as well. I love doing men's hair. I love what I do, and nothing's more exciting than going to someone who really loves what they do and has a passion for it. I think that's definitely a key issue. And I think what you want to do ultimately is, what you're doing here is setting a mood. You're setting a positive mood with the client for creativity, a positive mood to grow with, a positive mood for success, a positive mood for dialogue, a positive mood to implement your ideas, to your vision for that client. I think that's critical, and that comes from the power of suggestion. The other thing, there's so much here. The other important thing, and I'm going to jump around a little bit, so bear with me. The other important thing is, when you finish your visit with the client, you must take notes about what you talked about. If you made a suggestion for the hair to grow, if you made a suggestion for highlighting, for hair color, if you made a suggestion even for them to refer friends to you, you want to mark this down, you want to write this down and get it into the computer. Anything pertinent about the client, maybe something personal, perhaps their birthday, perhaps a special event, perhaps their daughter's going away or their son's going away or they're going away and they're coming back, maybe they're having a party. If you can keep somebody's notes mostly professional, a little bit of personal, so that when they come in the next time you have this, you have this right back to look at and refresh your memory, and people value that. They love that you remember things about them. They love that you remember that if their hair is a little difficult, it's curly underneath and maybe straight on top. Maybe they have multi-textures through their hair. They have other issues, something they're trying to achieve. Suggestions you made for color, suggestions you made for smoothing hair, for styling, for straightening, for relaxing. All these things are important. Many even makeup suggestions, tips to take care of your hair at home. I find that to be very critical. What do I do at home after I leave the salon? How can I take care of my hair? What products do I need to do this hairstyle? What does it take? How can I do this? And if really works. I mean, it's one thing to do great work, and I've seen so many people through the years that have talent, but they're unable to build a successful book because they're just not implementing and emoting and creating the right move for the client, which really comes from enthusiasm, comes from loving what you do, it comes from the power of suggestion, not being afraid to ask. These things are all critical. It's all a form of networking in the end. We also, when you go out, you should have cards with you that and we supply that for our staff as well. And if you're at a bar, or if you're at a restaurant and the subject comes up of hair, or you see someone that you think you can improve their hair, and or they're just someone you would like to do their hair. It's people that you relate to. Maybe you're trying to cultivate a balayage clientele. Maybe you're trying to cultivate more short haircuts. So when you see people out there like that, you would make a recommendation, introduce yourself, and give them a card, with your name on it, and with an introductory offer for them to come and see you. This way you're being proactive. You're not just sitting around waiting around all day for something to happen, because it's not magically going to happen. And once a client's in your chair, that person has a possibility of 10 more people. And you must understand how critical that is. And people love that. They really like that. If they like you and they like their hair, they will talk about you. But you have to put the suggestions. You plant the seed for referrals. You plant the seed for creativity. You plant the seed for a color look. You plant the seed for a potential haircut. You plant the seed for long hair, short hair, medium hair. You plant the seed for healthy hair. That's critical. Another thing also is very important when you do talk to clients. Never be negative. Don't talk about if they had a bad experience in another salon or anything with another hairdresser. Do not be negative about it. Do not say, well, though they're terrible. That's not going to work. What you want to do is you look at what you have, you see what you have, you talk positively, you draw on your inner heart and your inner soul, your love, your passion for doing hair, and things will just happen automatically.